everyone. Today we got to play Mangrovia. So before we get into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell because board games are amazing, and that is what we do here at Legends of Nirvana. Randy, tell us a little bit more about Mangrovia.
Sure. Mangrovia is a 2014 release, although it was a new release, or at least a restock at Card House when I got it. I'm not sure if it just now got to the United States or if it's been out of print and it got back into print recently. It has a Board Game Geek rating of 7.2 and a Board Game Geek rank of 1503. It's a 2 to 5 player game. Average length of game is 7 to 75 minutes. Age of 10 and up. It's a pretty simple game, so I think that makes sense. The design is by Eilif Svensson. Art is by Victor Bowden, and it's published by Zoc Verlag. It's got an MSRP. It's a little pricey for $50. Right now, the only place I could actually find it in stock was at Card House. Other than that, it's being sold on the eBay for $75.34. Card House has it for $47.99. You can find it. There's a few other retailers that were online. I did see it at least available at some point recently, but they were all out of stock. So.
Okay. Well, all right. So let's get into quality of pieces. So I don't think there's anything fantastic about it. No. You have a lot of wooden huts, if you will, in this case. Some player
markers. Do like the bowls. I mean, that's kind of unique to use those as a worker in the game.
Right. But
nothing outstanding.
No, nothing outstanding. But I mean, it's okay. I mean, but you do actually get a board where Catan you don't. Now, I will say the cards do have a slight linen finish to them. I do feel like they're good thickness and good quality. I don't have an issue. Like, I don't feel like I'm going to break them when I play with them. So in that instance, I guess they're a little bit better than some other card games.
And you got a couple birds of paradise that kind of look like green bananas, but
you know, hey,
they're birds. They're birdish.
So overall, though, I'd probably give this a score for quality components around a 6.
I'd probably give it a 6 as well. I don't think there's anything outstanding. I thought it was unique having the bowls, but that's about it.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so now let's talk about theme. So the theme is basically that there are several different people going after to become the next chieftain. And to do so, you are going to build huts strategically in the, what do they call it? The Pass of the Gods or something. And basically, that's the point where it comes into a little bit of an area control theme. I don't think the theme's super heavy. I mean, yeah, you're placing huts and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's not too heavy.
It's definitely not very thematic. I mean, you've got island leaves and various trinkets on some of the cards.
But even those, like, I don't even know what they are.
Well, I think it's probably what they're trading in. They collect shells because they're pretty. They collect little stones because they're pretty.
Yeah, those are pearls. I know what those are.
Yeah, so I think it's just things that they trade amongst themselves.
Okay.
And then you've got the birds of paradise, as we mentioned. I mean, again, it's not very heavy. It's really more of a place your hut into a region, get the victory points. There's multiple ways to score type game.
Yeah, I mean, and so theme-wise, it's not very strong. The artwork's okay, nothing spectacular, but it's all right. So for theme, I'll probably give this a 5.5.
I'll be generous and give it a 6 because I think the art is pretty. It's not outstanding, but I think it's pretty. And, I like the color choices. They actually do have a very pretty teal, and they have a purple.
Oh, you know what? I'll give it a half a point for having 6. Yeah, or for purple. Yeah, I'll give it a 6 for having a purple player. Okay, so now then let's talk about the rule book. So at first you were a little nervous because it was so big.
I opened the box and I was not expecting this to be a heavy game. When I heard about it, it sounds like a nice light game, and we do enjoy teaching those to your family in particular. We like to play light games. This one, when I got the book out, was 32 pages long. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to put that back to learn another day. But then when I got it out and was trying to look at it again, I noticed that it's 4 languages. So it's actually 8 pages long per language. So I'm like, okay, that's much more reasonable. German is the first section. So anytime you want to do the rules for English, you have to have it open. And I always try to keep it from folding, so I don't want to fold it. So it takes up a lot of real estate on your table when you're reading through. It has a lot of nice pictures on it. It is a very simple game to learn and to teach. So the rules are effective. They're sectioned nicely into the different actions that you can take as you go down the track. And the scoring is very clearly done. I'll give it probably an 8. It's an effective rule book. It's just very, very intimidating when you get it out and don't pay attention to the fact that it's multiple languages because it's heavy, when you're expecting a light game.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not that bad. All right. So now let's actually do gameplay. So gameplay is pretty straightforward. If you have 3 players, we're going to play it that way because, well, that's what we had. So basically you have 2 different workers and starting player. Randy, why don't you be the starting player for us? So he's going to pick one of these different locations. So
I will say with 2 or 3 players, you have to have dummy tribes that take up some of the spaces on the board.
Which is fine.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it didn't affect
especially with 3 players because you only put 3 huts on the board. With 2 players, there's a lot more huts that occupy
But that
the
makes
board.
sense, yeah.
Yeah. But with 3 players, you get 2 bowls to play. If you had 4 players or 5 players, you would have to place, you only get 1 bowl to play. But you place, there's 6 action circles that you can choose from, but they give you 2 actions, and the boat that is on the border goes around that island, so it triggers.
Yeah, so let's show them. So place yours.
So if you were to choose the first player one, you're going to get to the first and 12th action, so you're going to, it's kind of like Catan. Okay, you're going to play it for me then.
All right. So you keep doing this until...
Well, if I was first player, I couldn't have done what you just did. There.
Okay.
All right, then you go around. Okay, apparently I'm not playing this.
Well, you were taking too long. All right.
I'm trying to explain it.
So that was my job. All right. So basically, so once everyone takes up their workers, then you move the boat around the island. So basically, you'll go here. In this case, the icon is face up and face down cards. So in this particular instance, it's 2 face up and 1 face down. So if you'll notice here that I assume this changes with player count.
No.
What's available. Oh, it doesn't. Okay.
No, it's based upon the actions because you see the white cards that are up there are all, there's 7 of them.
Okay. All right. So there you go. All right. So basically at that point, purple's going to take 2 face up, 2 face down. It doesn't matter which pile that they're in. So for an example...
They take 2 face up, 1 face down.
Yeah, that's... Okay. And whatever it says. So basically, if you'll notice up there, the birds have forest and water. And so those are the only 2 places that you can build huts in this round. Okay. So I may take this one for an example because maybe I don't have a forest. And then maybe I'll take this one and I'll take this one. Okay. So I'll have those cards in my hand so I can later build a hut. Okay. So the other token about as far as receiving things is actually pulling from the bag or getting a single depending on where you are at on this track. Purple won the game because he was able to draw 3 of, or Teal was able to draw 3 of these during his turn and discard 1. And that's based on the chart over here, depending on how high you are. Now, those come from building in the circle locations. So how many ever huts that you have in the circle location each time you go up on this track, and you get more benefits from this particular action as far as pulling out mini. Now, these are worth victory points at the end of the game, as well as a building building resource. Okay, so there's certain locations that you can only build with these on there. But like I said, but they're end of game victory points depending on what you draw. Like if you drew a 6, that's 6 victory points. That's really, really kind of nice. So you kind of have to gauge whether it's worth spending those to actually put a hut on the board. All right, so you keep going around. You pick up cards, but then there's, or you pick up tokens depending on your choices, and then you come to the build action. So the build action, you do have to have one of the terrain cards to say where you're building, and then you have to have the exact number on your cards for the value that you are placing. So I have 8 here. That does not mean I can place on a 6, a 4, or a 3. It has to be exactly an 8. And so that made it, there was times like I had cards, but I could not actually play because I did not have that finite number. So just kind of being aware of that. But if I did, I would place it down, and I would place one of my huts on an 8 forest tile. Okay, and then I would go to discard these. Now, there is one building action that allows you to build 2 huts on the same space, but you have to have 2 of the terrain type and exactly double of the amount, and you can only do it on this particular tile. Now, there's another space that allows you to build 2 different buildings, but not on the same space as well. And then the final action was number 12 is basically you get the first player token and you get to decide where the birds are going to be for the following round. So you get to change the terrain types that you can build next round. So that can be pretty powerful. Like say you may have a bunch of sand or something like that and you're like, I can't, I need to use up these terrain cards. So you can do that there. And then you start all over again. Now you keep on going until either someone has played all their huts, or was there another end condition?
Nope, that's it.
Oh, that's it.
So
someone plays all their
huts.
Correct. And then you start scoring, and the scoring is very much area control. So you go down the rows, you go down the columns, and then there are certain sections. For example, there's this section here that's whoever has the most. This section is actually a little bit different. It's how many of your huts times the number of huts in that area. So you got a significant amount of points doing that. I think it was 35 because you had
because pretty much everybody ignored that area but me. So
well, good for you.
So I managed to get all the huts pretty much in that region. So as a multiplier, there were a total of 7 huts there because there was 1 starter hut from there not being a 3rd or 4th player, and then your dad built 1, and after that I built 5. So I had 5 of the 7 huts, and so I got 35 points for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then the other place where you really kicked our butt is over here. I didn't realize how valuable this would be because I did not know those were victory points until the end, practically. But, hey, it's a learning game, and I wasn't listening during the rules, so shame on me. It happens. So overall, it is really straightforward to play.
Very simple to teach. It's the spaces some of them have victory points, some of them don't, and it's all strategically about where you're going to fall as far as the rows and columns. I didn't score as many points there, so there's a balancing of this, and I don't know, we were all pretty close.
Yeah, we weren't too horribly off. We actually won a round completely. All of us did, and so it was just a matter of fun. So, I mean, I think it was fun. I actually had a lot of fun. It is a light to medium game, but with the whole, and this is the thing, guys, I'm not typically a huge area control fan, but this I like because no one can steal your area. You can just build as you want to build, and no one's going to steal from you. So that's one of the reasons why.
They can't steal the majority, but apart from that.
No, but they can't take your space. Once you put your hut on a space, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I typically don't like area control is because I worked really hard to get my little thing, and then someone comes in and steals all my crap, and I'm mad. So that's not in this, so it's actually an area control that I do, in fact, like. I do not like the fact that I did not win, but, I'll get over it.
Well, you were playing me, so to be fair, so.
Yeah, that doesn't really change my perspective on winning. But I really actually enjoyed it. I think I'm probably going to give this 7.5, 8. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good game.
I think 7.5 is where I'm at. It's a fun game. It's definitely a light one. I would call this entry level, except for the fact that the rulebook looks so intimidating when you pull it out and it's so thick. But yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't call it entry. I'd call it light. I think if they're familiar with area control and worker placement, that's fine. But you're talking about 2 mechanisms, and I don't like to say something's a beginner if there's more than 1 mechanism involved.
Yeah, I mean, as far as worker placement, it's minimal worker placement. There's only 6 places to go.
Right, and they're all kind of the same theme. I mean, so you might you might be able to.
So, I mean, definitely this is a good way of teaching worker placement, I think.
Right, with a little bit of area, and then there is significant area control. I mean, that's something to discuss, and but I would still call it a light game.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think it's entry, that's your opinion.
Yeah. But yeah, either way, it's easy game to pick up.
It is.
And,
it is.
It's certainly easy to explain, and there's some basic concepts in this game that are common to a lot of like more traditional games. So it's not like you're going to overwhelm someone who's played more like Monopoly type games as opposed to hard Euros or anything.
Correct. I agree with that. All right. So what was your score?
I gave 7.5.
And I gave it a 7.5 to 8.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We had an absolute blast. And maybe you should check this one out if you like some area control that's not so backstabby. So we'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.